The holiday season is meant to feel joyful, but the truth is that for many moms, it often feels rushed, noisy, and emotionally heavy. There's a lot to prepare for, a lot to remember, and sometimes there's very little space to rest. Welcome to Motherhood and Homemaking. My name is Heaven, and today I want to have just an honest and simple, heartfelt conversation with you. I want it to just be like sitting across the table from a friend at the kitchen table, no pressure, no perfection. As you move through your tasks today, I want to help you navigate the stress that naturally comes with this season and give you simple ways to protect your peace while still showing up for your family. As I wrap gifts today, I'm also wrapping up a weekend that felt a little bit heavier than expected. Our family had a little bit of a stressful time, and it forced me to pause, and not the kind of pause that I planned, but definitely the kind that humbles you and reminds you that you are human. Without sharing all of the details that are meant to stay private, our family just experienced something that was a little bit unexpected, and it kind of pulled me out of productivity mode, even though I had plans, even though I had content scheduled. But that's just how life is. It doesn't always ask you for permission when something comes up. So instead of filming, instead of staying busy, instead of editing, instead of pushing forward, I had to regulate. I had to comfort and I had to stop. And that is something that is hard for someone like me because I like consistency. I like following through and I like showing up. And I know that many moms are like me in that way. But sometimes showing up looks like choosing rest, prayer, quiet, and presence instead of performance. If you ever had something to put down that you cared about, even temporarily, to care for your family or for yourself, then I'm sure that you can understand and know that I see you and I'm right there with you too. Holiday stress usually is not about one big thing. Instead, it builds quietly through small pressures just stacking on top of each other. And at first, it seems like we've got this, but then remembering what everyone needs, making sure nothing is forgotten, trying to create meaningful moments while staying on budget, keeping routines while everything feels disrupted. Sometimes the stress can kind of just creep up. It lives in the mental load of the planning, the emotional anticipation of how everyone is going to experience this season, and you might feel pressure to make the holidays magical while also staying cheerful, organized, and calm, and that expectation alone can be exhausting. If you feel a little more tired than joyful right now, it's okay. It doesn't mean that you're ungrateful, it doesn't mean that you're failing, it doesn't mean that something is wrong, but it does mean that you are human. Slowing down does not mean giving up on the holidays. Everything does not have to fall apart, but it does mean choosing a pace that your body and your mind can sustain. One of the most helpful mindset shifts is realizing that everything does not need to be done at once, and everything doesn't need to be done at all. The urgency we feel is often self-created, and sometimes we just need to prioritize a few simple things. So ask yourself today, what truly needs to be done today and what can wait? You are allowed to wrap fewer gifts in one setting. You're allowed to sit down even when the house is not perfect. You are allowed to choose rest before resentment sets in. Slowing down is a form of wisdom, not weakness. And in fact, the Bible and God recommends that we also slow down. So here are a few gentle tools to regulate holiday stress, a few practical ways to calm your nervous system down during this busy season. They're simple, realistic, and they're just meant to fit into real mom life and hopefully lift up your spirits if you've been feeling overwhelmed. First, build intentional pauses, not long breaks, just small ones. A deep breath before you react, think before speaking, a moment of quiet before moving on to the next task or starting your day. Simplify expectations. Not every tradition has to happen every year. Not every family has to be visited. Not every meal has to be elaborate. Not every moment needs to be captured or shared. Not every corner of your house has to be decorated. One thing I often encourage busy moms, busy homemaker, anyone in a busy season to focus on is protecting your mornings and your evening. As soon as you wake up in the morning and just before you go to sleep. These are often the most sensitive parts of the day. A calmer start and a gentler close can change the entire tone of your home. Another thing is to limit overstimulation when possible, turning off background noises, trying not to multitask. Instead, light a candle, create a quieter environment for yourself and your family. And all of these small choices really do add up a lot more than we realize, and you really do feel it. Just like all of the small, tiny, everyday responsibilities and stress can add up, so can those small, intentional choices, but in a more beneficial way. Holiday stress is not only physical, it can often be emotional as well. So maybe you're carrying expectations from your family. You might be managing your children's or your spouse's emotions. You might be holding unspoken grief, comparison, or pressure. It's okay to acknowledge that joy and stress can exist at the same time. One thing that helps is naming how you feel without judgment, saying to yourself, this is a lot right now, instead of asking why you can't handle it better, telling yourself you're doing things wrong. Another helpful practice is releasing the need to be everything to everyone, because you are only one person, not the entire holiday experience. Give some things over to someone else in the family, or even more importantly, give it over to God. Your presence in your home matters so much more than your performance. I want to briefly say this for anyone who feels behind. I give you permission to pause and catch back up. Not that you need permission, but maybe you just needed to hear it. Even this season, I had to pause for a moment, like I mentioned, when life became heavier than expected over the past few days. It reminded me that stopping doesn't mean failing. Instead, it means listening. And honestly, that's powerful, and it's brave, and it's intentional. If you have missed days, routines, or plans, you can always begin again gently. And it really does start with one small, one simple, but often difficult no. Once you do it more, you give yourself more and more permission to be human, to be humble, to walk and share with others who are also often walking in the same season of life as you. If you're wrapping gifts with me, or maybe you're moving throughout your house, folding some clothes, cleaning, doing some laundry, whatever it is that you are doing, I just want you to know that yes, all of that stuff, it's very, very important. But something that I realized very recently is that your children are going to remember how they felt more than what they received. Most children really don't mind a messy home. In fact, most children pretty much live in a messy bedroom. And that doesn't mean that it's good to have a messy home. It just means that your kid is probably going to much more prefer that you spend time with them rather than making sure your home is perfect like the Hallmark Christmas movies. Your home does not need perfection to hold peace, and you do not need to rush to make this season meaningful. Slow is still productive, rest is still responsible, and peace is still possible. So take your time and just know that you are doing enough. I also want to talk about letting go of guilt when you choose to pause, because it always does show up, doesn't it? The guilt of unfinished tasks, the guilt of missed days, the guilt of feeling like you disappointed someone even when nobody said you did. So here's something that I had to remind myself of during those days that I missed Vlogmas. Consistency is not perfection. Consistency is returning. Rest does not erase your commitment, it protects it. And I'm going to say that again. Consistency is not perfection. Consistency is returning. You don't quit, you keep going. Pausing is not quitting, and in some cases, pausing is wisdom. It's intentional, it's purposeful, it's needed. And as moms, we often speak grace over everyone else by holding ourselves to impossible standards. But what if slowing down is actually part of faithful stewardship? Stewardship of your health, of your family, stewardship of your peace. You are allowed to stop, and you should when life asks you to. So just a few more practical ways to navigate holiday-specific stress during this busy season. Lower the bar without lowering the joy. Not everything has to be homemade. Not every moment has to be documented. And joy is definitely not found from exhaustion. Focus on what actually matters this week, this holiday season. Not everything on your list has to be urgent. Focus on prioritizing and ask yourself what truly needs my energy right now, and where do my children, where does my family need me right now? Build in small pauses, even 5 minutes of quiet. Taking a deep breath before you respond, or if you're frustrated, a moment to pray before you panic. Give yourself permission to catch up instead of just giving up. It's okay to pause and start again. Missing days does not mean that the season is ruined. It just means that life happens and you are human. Most importantly, let your children see you slow down. It teaches them how to regulate, how to slow down, and how to be patient. They learn more from how we handle stress than how perfectly we perform during the holiday season. So as we close it out, here is just a reminder that you do not need to prove anything by burning yourself out. Your children do not need a perfect holiday. They need a regulated and present mom. Your family does not need more hustle. They need your hearts, and you do not need to prove anything to yourself either. As I finish wrapping these presents, I'm reminded that the most meaningful gift we give our families is not what's under the tree or how pretty the house looks, but the peace that we cultivate inside of our homes and inside of our families. So thank you for being here, and thank you for giving me grace during my pause and giving me time to share this with you as well. I hope that you guys enjoyed this Christmas gift wrapping video and some mom encouragement for this busy holiday season. If so, I hope that you'll give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. I'm always sharing motherhood motivation and homemaking inspiration, anything that I think is helpful, realistic, and relatable. But that's going to be all for today's video. As always, I'm wishing you guys the best holiday season, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Until next time.